Hello, kindergarten families. Welcome back to another parent video. My name is Mrs. Pasmore. I am a kindergarten teacher here at Cleveland Elementary. Today is one of my favorite topics. We're going to be talking about behavior. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me pull up the slides for you. Here we go. Hope everybody is having an amazing, amazing day. This is one of my favorite things to talk about because this is one of the greatest challenges that I face as a teacher, and one of the greatest things that I have learned about as a teacher, which is behavior um, and things that you can do to shift your child's behavior in a more positive direction. So, today is behavior at home and at school, information, tips, and tricks to promote positive behavior. All right. So we're going to start with behavior at school first. We have behavior expectations at Cleveland. We call them the Cleveland Three. There are three key expectations for behavior in the building. They are be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. When your child follows the Cleveland Three and is able to do those three things, they earn points that we call PSC points. So, what is PSC? PSC stands for Positive School Climate. So, PSC is the program that we use at school to promote positive behavior. Students follow the Cleveland Three to earn points in five categories. We have attendance, uniform, classroom behavior, cafeteria behavior, and hallway behavior. So students have an opportunity to earn 5 points a day towards PSC. Excuse me. So there are rewards that come with PSC. Approximately every 2 weeks, students have the opportunity to participate in the PSC celebration. In order to participate, your student has to earn a certain amount of points. Those points have been established and communicated with your student before the PSC cycle starts. Students who earn the PSC celebration also have the opportunity to dress out of uniform for $1 on PSC theme out of uniform days. If your child earns the PSC celebration, they receive an invitation before the celebration day, and they'll let you know that your child has earned the PSC party. So that is PSC is school-wide. That is a behavior system that we have in effect in the entire building. And a cycle usually runs every 2 weeks. Um, and some of the parties that we have had in the past are like the glow party. We've had popsicle parties, ice cream parties, games where they get to go outside and play extra games and have extra recess time. We've done snowball fights where we bring in wrapping paper and they get to throw balls at each other, or balls of wrapping paper at each other in the gym, which is a super fun and favorite one. Just all kinds of different things they can earn for PSC. So it's super fun. Super exciting opportunities that they can participate in just for following the rules and coming to school. In my classroom and in Ms. Tornia's classroom, we also have behavior expectations and incentives that your child can earn. So there are five behavior expectations within the classroom. They are walking feet, keep your hands to yourself, use your listening ears, use nice words, and do your best. When your child follows these expectations, they have the opportunity to earn class cash that they can spend in our class store. Students can use class cash to purchase fancy pencils, pens, gum, candy, snacks, juice, treasure box. There's one in there where they can take their shoes off for the day as long as they're sitting at their desk, eat lunch with the teacher, all kinds of things that they can purchase. Usually, our shopping day is the last day of the week. So we always have one every week, and it's usually the last day of the week. So if we don't have school on Friday, then we would have shopping day on Thursday. Um, and also don't forget, your child has the opportunity to earn class cash just by doing their homework. So they do their homework, they get even more class cash. Also, if your child wears their uniform, we give them class cash if they come in with their uniform on. So there's all different easy ways for them to earn all kinds of incentives by making the right choices. Um, so what happens when your child struggles with behavior or we start having challenges in behavior? So, consequences that are given, PSC points aren't earned. And if they don't earn enough PSC points, then they don't get the PSC celebration when time comes, and they will be in the classroom with myself or Ms. Tornia, usually doing some kind of assignment, while everyone else who earns PSC gets to go and participate. Um, on their behavior calendars that I send home in their folders, I will usually write you a note that'll say what they struggled with. And instead of a sticker, you will see that note that I have written to you. If you get, or should say your child, if your child gets 3 days of no stickers, or the behavior gets dramatically worse, then I'm going to give you a call. And we're going to come up with a plan to help your child be more successful. A lot of times they can lose recess, which I do not like to do. That is usually a last resort because these kids at this age need recess and need to run. So I don't like to take recess unless it's a pretty bad thing that they did. Um, a lot of what we will do after they have lost recess. I may even do this before they lose recess. I like to create a behavior plan to help your child be successful. So when I give you a call and let them know they're struggling, if you and I working together and me calling has still not helped, then we're going to create a behavior plan together. They may need some kind of individual behavior chart to help them motivate them to make good choices. We may start having to give them more frequent breaks. I'm not really sure. We have to come up with a plan catered to your child to see if we can help them get on a more successful track with their behavior. After we've created this behavior plan, if they are still struggling and not successful, then we start doing office referrals. A lot of times, if kids make a big mistake, I kind of let it go the first time. We discuss it. We reflect on it. We say how that's not what we do at school. If they continue to do it, um, then it becomes a problem. I hate doing office referrals. But if it gets to a point where the behavior is just not changing, then we need to start doing office referrals and tracking the behavior because it may end up that they need more behavior support from other adults in the building. So, um, with every consequence that students receive at school, they're going to reflect with the teacher on what happened and what would have been a better choice. A lot of times they might do a reflection sheet. I might have them think about it and draw me a picture as to what would have been a better choice. Um, that sometimes they just need a moment, and that reflection sheet can help them kind of calm down and kick their brain into the right gear, so that they can think things through and discuss what would have been a better choice. So if we ever have to do a reflection sheet, I would send that home to you as well. Oh, but we're not going to get into those things because everyone's going to be an angel and we're going to have a great year. All right, let's talk about behavior at home. So, What can you do at home to help support positive behavior at school? Um, Number one, communicate with your teacher. Let me know if your child is struggling. If there are things going on at home that may be contributing to behavior at school, again, let me know. If I'm giving you a call to let you know your child's struggling with behavior, um, then at that point, work with me and let's come up with a better plan as to how your child can be successful. Because that's what I'm here for, is to help your child be successful and have a successful time in kindergarten. Another thing you can do at home to support positive behavior is be consistent. If you have an expectation and you have set a rule in place, then stick to it. If the child decides I'm not going to follow that rule and they make a bad choice, then they need consequences. And you have to be consistent and follow through with those consequences and not let them get away with it. Otherwise, when you establish a rule, they're going to think it's not serious. They're not going to take you seriously. Um, so, consistent expectations. If they don't follow the expectations, give consequences, logical consequences. My favorite is natural consequences, but a lot of times natural consequences don't always follow the choice. So something that's logical, a lot of times it could be they love the iPad and you know what? You talked back to your teacher today and you weren't listening, so you don't get the iPad tonight because you didn't make good choices at school. Um, Things like that are amazingly helpful to us because your child knows that I'm talking to you and you're talking to me and we're on the same team. Um, and they're not going to get away with behavior that they're doing at school at home. So, any help and support you can give us is amazing. Um, Hold your child accountable to their behavior, have discussions with them regarding their behavior. If they have made a not so good choice at school. Let's say they were unsafe and they hit another student at school. Have a discussion with them. Why did this happen? What could have been a better choice? Is that something we do at school? Because as much as I've had the discussion with them, you need to have the discussion with them as well so they know we're a team, we're on the same page, and this is important and this behavior is not acceptable. Um, Let your child know and set the example that again school is important, that this is their life. So school is the start of building your education so you can have a successful life, and set the example. Let them know school is important, that it's non-negotiable. We don't act like this at school. You This is where you grow your brain. This is where you become smart, and it's not acceptable to do this. um, Last thing is, on a more positive note, set goals with your child that you want them to accomplish and encourage them to meet those goals. And when they do, celebrate those goals so that you have a positive experience with your child and it's not always negative, and that they're in trouble for negative behaviors. I can help you set goals, and come up with goal sheets and things like that. Um, if you need help with doing those things. So, these are all things that you can do to help support positive behavior at school, things you can do at home to help us at school. All right, so here are some tips for making behavior better at home. If your child has challenging behaviors at home, you are not alone. Um, I raised a child with autism, and you want to talk about challenging behaviors? Oh, he's 26 and I still have challenging behaviors. So, you're going to hear me say this a lot, but number one is get your child on a structure and routine that is followed every day. The change in their behavior when you do is dramatic. Um, any expectation that you set Be consistent. If this is an expectation and it's a non-negotiable and they're not following the expectation, there needs to be a consequence. Nothing, do not let it slide. If you're thinking, maybe I'll let it slide sometimes, then don't make it an expectation. If it's an expectation, you're going to have to hold to it. Um, Never speak to your child when you are upset. This is advice that was given to me when I first became a parent, and it is 100% true. You really should carry this over for anyone in your life. Don't talk to anyone when you're upset. Your mind is upset. It needs time to calm down, needs time to think rationally. You cannot think rationally when you are angry. So, if your child is doing something that is frustrating you, driving you crazy, making you upset, put them in a timeout or tell them you need a timeout and take a break and calm down before you have a discussion with them so you can be thinking clearly when you have the discussion that their behavior is not okay. When you have that discussion, that's when you give consequences for behavior and be consistent. If you tell them you're going to take away the game station because they're not listening at school, then when they don't listen at school, you need to take away the game station. If you tell them there is no dessert for a week because you're not listening to your teacher, then you need to stick to the fact that you said there is no dessert for a week. Otherwise, if you're not consistent and you don't stick with it, when you give a consequence, your child is not going to believe you when you say, have a great day at school today. Remember, if you don't make good choices, this is what's going to happen. They're not going to believe you because you're not consistent with your consequences. So, whatever you say you're going to do, unfortunately, you have to do it. So, make sure when you tell them the consequence, it's actually something you're going to hold to. Um, don't be, you're grounded for a month. Well, we're not going to, I could never ground my kid for a month. So there's just too much that happens in a month. It's not a realistic consequence. So make sure it's something you can hold up. Um, and that's the negative side. So the positive side is you always want to have some kind of, you can create some kind of reward system at home that reinforces positive behavior. So with my kids, a lot of times what I would do is we would have, a monetary system at home where they could earn dollars or cash like I do at school that says, you earn these dollars for doing these chores or this treat or this incentive for cleaning your room. So reward systems to reward positive behavior has always worked in my favor. And then the other thing that has worked really well is just verbal praise. Let them know when they're doing the right thing and tell them you're proud of them. Great job. Um, they love that more than anything. The other thing, last thing that you can do to help improve behavior at home is to just spend time with your child. Watch a movie with them, read books with them, talk to them, listen to them, um, take them out in the community and do things with them. Spending time with them means more to them than you will ever know. And it builds that relationship and that trust and that foundation that you really need with your child. So, spending time with them may be one of the best things you can do to help improve their behavior. So, if these things you're trying and they're not working and you're just struggling and behavior is not improving and you're really frustrated and you don't know what to do, please communicate with us. Give me a call, give Miss Tornia a call. There's more resources than you could ever imagine that we have. ideas, tips, tricks that we could give you to try with your child, to see if they help. Um, and if worse comes to worse, and there's things we're recommending, it's just not helping. We may recommend you take your child to see their pediatrician because there may be things that they can do. So there's always help out there. So you're never lost or alone when it comes to behavior. All right. So that is the end of our presentation today. Thank you so much for listening. Our information is at the bottom of the screen if you need to communicate with us. Thanks again for coming, paying attention to the presentation, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great one. Bye.